Okay, my screen is visible to you, right? Okay, so let's start. You know, just for the it's day first, I just want to describe the scope of this training first, and then we'll proceed with the content of the training of the day one of this training. Okay, so let me just start. Yeah. So this is the scope actually. This is the same like I mentioned in the last actually our meeting. So just this training is intended to train you regarding the solution that is actually password safe, that is from the BeyondTrust. Only this solution that password safe, because there are multiple solutions, other solutions as well, like PRA, like EPM, like XYZ. So this training is about only for the password safe, right? And also this will be like for the 15 days and with 30 hours of credit. And each day we'll conduct 2 hours only. So and after the main thing that I want to mention here, like like your AD solution, because this is the PAM solution that is actually covering all the components of infrastructure, IT infrastructure, like your Active Directory, like your Linux servers, Unix servers, devices from network sites, and like all the hypervisor, all the assets that includes in the IT infrastructure. So we'll focus on the specific the most important assets, like Active Directory, like Linux, like some of the network devices, one of the network devices hopefully, and also the one of the application like web console, and one of our thick client application on the Windows side. So we'll cover, but this when we build the lab, so that lab will be hosted on your your system, like on your system or your cloud instance if you have. So at that time I'll just guide you how to configure the Active Directory, how to configure such a Linux server, or just what I need actually, what are my requirement for this. You have to build all this. Okay, just the main part I'll just guide you, I'll just support you over the building the infrastructure of the BeyondTrust PAM solution. Okay, so that's the main thing. Sure. So let's just start, and this is the plan actually for all the training for all the 15 days that we will cover. First of all, the day one, it's actually introduction of the PAM solution, what PAM capabilities are, BeyondTrust PAM, what it can perform, and also what is a U-Series appliance, and also just a brief overview of the BeyondTrust solutions and all the remaining solutions as well, for the just understanding. Later we'll just focus on the functional accounts and all systems, onboarding, manage accounts, XYZ. So let's just start. This is actually day one. For day one, this is the content that we'll discuss today. First of all, I'll introduce to you a little PAM in a theoretical way, because this is day one is mostly towards theoretical, not the practical one. The second point is just a little BeyondTrust portfolio. Products, how many products they have and what are their capabilities, like then we'll move to the U-Series appliance overview, and how what's the U-Series appliance they are offering to, and how many models they have. Also we'll discuss the architecture as well, from cloud, from on-prem, like active passive and active, just functionality, and then little terminologies. And also today there is a demo. I'll just demonstrate how the deployment and installation of the UVM appliance we perform, and then I'll just provide you the URL link. You can just download, because this will be like a you can say I'll just demonstrate how you can provision the VM and install the components. Then you have to build in your own setup. I'll just provide you the link. You will have to just download, and you will you have to follow the same process that I will demonstrate here. That's it. Okay. So what the PAM is. Just I want to this is the Wikipedia, and so just I want to briefly describe here. Actually, what's the PAM? Privilege access management. Just a solution, or you can say that it's like a approach that will control the access of privileged identities or privileged sessions, like everything that is privileged in our IT infrastructure. So we will manage those in the like access management solution, in such a solution that's like a solution that's actually managing the access of privilege items, identities, systems, XYZ, all the things that are in the IT sector as a privilege. So that's actually in a short way we can say that briefly description of the PAM. There are multiple solutions in the market for the PAM, but we'll focus on the BeyondTrust. And BeyondTrust, what they offer as a PAM, they have password safe that's actually covering the PAM functionalities. Like the PAM main core functionalities of the PAM is like management of privilege accounts with the password rotation, automatic password rotation, and also providing the session to the end user whenever the user needs the session, without password injection, sharing the password to the user, XYZ. There's actually core functionality. So that actually lies in the one of the solution from the BeyondTrust that is actually called password safe. Sorry. So actually what the password safe is, these are all the product portfolio for the BeyondTrust. They have password safe, one of the solution that have the functionality of the PAM. Actually what the PAM does, as I told you, that PAM works on the accounts, privilege accounts, that actually perform auto rotation, auto management of the accounts, privilege accounts that we onboard in the BeyondTrust, and also provide the sessions to the end users whenever they need. Okay, so also at the back end, it record the sessions for the auditing purpose and reporting features. So that's actually password safe or PAM capabilities, functionalities. But other than PAM, this is the actually product portfolio. Just I want to little bit highlight PRA. That's a PRA solution other than the PAM, privileged remote access. That's actually like a VPN replacement of the one of the solution there. There's a remote support. Also, it's a little bit similar to the PRA, but it provides unintended session compared to the like PRA. It provides intended session, so a little difference between them. Also in title, they have just-in-time access capabilities to provision the sessions under the workflow. There's the AWS solution, like they can just manage your Linux devices under a Windows GPU or Active Directory management. All the Linux devices that can be joined to the same domain that you are working with the your AT infrastructure. The last solution is EPM. EPM is like for the privilege management, like providing the least privileges or to the Windows system, Mac OS system, or Linux system. They have their two variants of the EPM for Windows and Mac, and EPM for Linux and Unix devices. So these are all the products offering from the BeyondTrust. Also, the main thing that we will focus in this training, it will be the password safe only. That there is actually password management and session management solution. In short, we say that it's PAM solution. So let's just go to the password safe. Look, first of all, I just want to highlight here the core that I mentioned, core functionalities of the password safe, like PAM solution. What the core functionalities are, as I told you, that it provides the management of the accounts by rotating its password. So it will be lies under the credential management. You can see here the second point, it's a credential management. So it can store or manage the passwords. Also it can manage the SSH keys as well. All the passwords, all the SSH keys that are used for the authentication, it can manage, and it can create a vault inside it itself, and it can start the rotation of all the SSH keys and all the passwords that we onboard into the BeyondTrust password safe solution. So because of management, the management here, what we call as a management, it's like a management of your accounts using the changing the passwords of or you can say the rotating the passwords and SSH keys. That's it. So it's like a credential management. The core or main functionality of the password safe is the credential management, and the second is the session monitoring. So it will provide the end user sessions using that same credentials that it rotates at the backend, without providing or exposing the credentials to the user, sharing the credentials to the user. And also at the backend, it will start the recording of those sessions for auditing, or for auditing purposes later for the reporting as well. So second functionality is session monitoring. So basically two functionalities of the password safe is like credential management and session monitoring. Including these, there is a third functionality that's actually discovery and onboarding. So this is called as automation. We can perform automation inside the BeyondTrust that can scan, identify all the accounts that are actually privileged and onboard into the BeyondTrust for the credential management and session management. So this functionality is used for the most of the times for credential management and session monitoring. So I'll just explain later on, but the main, you can say that the functionalities or the works or the task of the BeyondTrust password safe is lies under these three tasks. Any question on this? Because I just on. If you have any question, just ask me. Okay, sure, perfect. So there is a U series appliance. No, what the U series appliance is, I just want to highlight here. U series appliance actually, the name of the appliance of the password safe, actually where the password safe is hosted. It's from the BeyondTrust, that is that's sometimes physical appliance, there's sometimes virtual appliance they are offering from BeyondTrust. So they named U series for the the BeyondTrust solution, that BeyondTrust password safe solution that is hosted on some kind of appliance. So they provide you the appliance called U series. So sometimes they call it U series, sometimes they call it UVM appliance. So UVM means the appliance that is actually virtual appliance based. So that's why we call it U series virtual machine, UVM. And and sometimes they call it like U series. So most of the times it's like a physical appliance. So nowadays it's deprecated and end of sales now. So appliance is like simple appliance that is actually a virtual machine they provide to you, and you just install, and all the softwares, all the components are already installed into that for using the same solution that is offering from the vendor side. So this U series appliance actually hosted on you can host it on your any hypervisor, like VMware, like your Hyper-V, Nutanix, or XYZ, whatever you want actually. So all the BeyondTrust platform that is actually password safe, BeyondTrust password safe solution platform, it's hosted on this appliance actually, using the appliance. So this is just a little appliance web console, the screenshot that I pasted here. So you can visualize here the appliance health like regarding the SQL memory, CPU usage, RAM usage, XYZ. So I'll just demonstrate later as well. I have the solution as well. So let's just go ahead. No, this is the same appliance. This is the same UVM appliance that is actually password safe that you are using. I guess you said that you have the password safe access, right? Yes, when you purchase the password safe, BeyondTrust provides you the virtual appliance, virtual the machine for you. So once you host the virtual machine, so you can just manage all the appliance through the web console, from your browser. So this is the browser actually screenshot from the appliance side, not for the web console that you use normally. Let's just work on the architecture. Sorry. So first of all, I want to just explain the cloud, SaaS-based architecture that they offer, because some most of the times nowadays, customers go with the SaaS-based model as well. So SaaS-based model is a little different from the BeyondTrust. They host on the AWS, Azure as well, and they directly provide you the URL link, and you don't need to manage the appliance. They will manage the appliance, but you have to just use that software for your usage, like for the PAM functionalities. You don't need to provision, you don't need to apply the patches and XYZ. So they will manage all the things from the appliance side, but you have to just use the solution from the cloud side. Okay. So this is the architecture. Just you can see here the tenant, that's actually Azure tenant, where the password safe is hosted. So the password safe actually, all the UI side is hosted on the Azure, but once you integrate with your on-prem infrastructure, like this is on-prem data center, you can see here. So you have to create a server, Windows-based server, where you install the resource broker software. That is actually that will connect your Windows resource broker server to the Azure tenant. So, directly your Azure tenant will not communicate with your end devices, like, your Windows server, Linux server, or the databases, everything on your data that are on your, on-prem data center. But to provide the communication, you have to create a, it's like a jump or proxy for the Azure tenant. So you have to create a Windows server and install the BeyondTrust resource broker there with a API key that will be communicating, or you can say that integrating your on-prem resource broker to the Azure tenant. So in this way, your Azure tenant will be communicating to the resource broker for all the PAM functionalities. Okay, you got this point. You can see here the on-prem resource broker that is actually integrating with password safe Azure with the TCP 443 port using the API, some kind of API, internal API. And also you can see here the cloud resource broker that, if you have some kind of, assets hosted on a different cloud platform, like, any Google cloud platform or AWS or Azure. So you have to install a cloud-based resource broker there as well. So it will be like same, your Windows machine, but you have to install the resource broker software on the resource broker servers. So then it will be communicating with the your Azure tenant using the API key and the API endpoint. Also, you can see here all the discovery engine. Your resource broker will be treating as a discovery engine. So whenever a scan has been scheduled in the BeyondTrust, I'll just demonstrate later, why we need a scan or why we need to run the scan. So currently you can see here the three functionalities. The one is discovery. Whenever you are running the discovery, so discovery will be running from your resource broker server. You can see, not from the Azure. Azure will, Azure tenant will just push the command, or you can say that push the task to the resource broker servers, all the resource broker servers they have. So resource broker server will start the scanning of your assets. So there will be no any scanning or interaction directly from the Azure tenant. All the tasks will be performed by your resource broker server, like your discovery or your credential management, like all the protection of passwords will be done from the resource broker. And also the any connection that is being opening for the user, or like any remote connection for RDP, any remote connection for SSH, it will be opening like proxied from the resource broker server, not from the cloud. Cloud will just manage the things, like yeah, logs will be under the password safe, but it will be like on the most of the times in Azure tenant. But the sessions and the credential management and discovery will be from the cloud resource broker, or cloud, or any resource broker that you have on the data center. So this was a cloud infrastructure. So now let me just show you the on-prem active passive architecture, because on-prem model have the two type of architecture, either active passive, either active active. So first I'll just explain how the active passive is working, then I'll explain how active active is working. Okay. So now you can see here the active architecture. Here you can see this is the UVM appliance. This is in passive, and this is the UVM appliance in active. And you can see here there is HA configured in between these two appliances, and all the traffic coming from the end user or users subnet. It's coming from the you say that redirecting from the load balancer itself. So whenever a user is opening a connection, you can see here, whenever a user is trying to get the session, he have to log into the BeyondTrust portal like web console. So you have to come to the TCP 443 port. Okay, so using the TCP 443, it can start the HTTP connection to the appliance using the browser and log into the BeyondTrust server, and then he will able to see all the assets that he can access either from RDP connection, either from SSH connection. Whenever he is initiating the RDP connection, so he have to request inside the BeyondTrust appliance, and request will be approved based on the access policy that we configured, okay, in the BeyondTrust. And whenever the request is submitted and approved, he can access, like end user can access the RTP connection or SSH connection based on the request he requested earlier. So for example, he is requesting the RTP connection, so he can initiate the connection from his workstation to the BeyondTrust UVM appliance using the TCP 4489 port if the RTP connection is there. If the SSH connection, it can initiate from the 4422 port. Automatically, it will be initiating. So the UVM appliance will be as a proxy, session proxy. So it can start the session requested from the end user based on its request. Like he's requesting for the RDP connection. So BeyondTrust UVM appliance will start the RDP connection. Like you can see here the open connection, and BeyondTrust UVM appliance will start the connection for end server that is user is requesting. So BT appliance, your BeyondTrust appliance will act as a proxy. Okay. So all the connection from RDP, it's 4489 will be terminated on the UVM appliance, and UVM appliance will start the connection to the end server and Windows server. You can see here the 3389 port. And also for the SSH, like 4422 port, connection will be initiated from the user workstation to the UVM appliance, and UVM appliance will start the end Linux server or Unix server connection. Like you can see here the any Linux server, it's like SSH connection. You can see TCP 22 port, and also for the Cisco device, also it's like SSH connection. They are opening. BeyondTrust is opening. So these all are opening connections for BeyondTrust. Whenever user is initiating connection, it will be terminating on the UVM appliance, and UVM is like responsible to open connection for the user. Open any connection like for the Windows or Linux or any network device. That's it. Any question on this part? This. Yes. Yeah, there are ways actually. There are ways. Either you can open the connection. This yes, complete, please. Yeah, complete, please. No. Look, any connection that you are initiating from BeyondTrust, only the connections, like sessions, okay? So like RDP connection, like SSH connection, so it will be proxied from UVM. But in case if you are, getting the password, last rotated password from BeyondTrust, so it will just provide you the password. No any reporting feature, no any session providing. Like, if you are requesting the password, it's just password safe will just act as like a password management solution. Okay, but in case if you are launching the session, then it will act as a PAM solution, like password and session management both. Okay, so when you are requesting the password and injecting into your session, into your external session, like not from the BeyondTrust, so it will be not monitored. Okay, so you are just going normally, like normally when you are getting session, just go to the same that session browser and XYZ and putting the credentials. That's it. Just BeyondTrust is providing you the fresh credentials. That's it. That way. Okay. Yeah, if you're using the connection string, like this is direct connect method. I know like what you are mentioning, but when you are launching direct connect or direct connect string that you are mentioning here, so also that string is initiating your connection to the UVM appliance. It will be like same proxy. Okay, so you are mentioning the password of your login account to the UVM appliance, not the Windows server. Whenever you are launching the connection string, it will ask you for password. So that password is not a privileged account that is managed by the BeyondTrust. That password is actually your login account that you log in normally into the BeyondTrust appliance for getting the sessions. Okay. So BeyondTrust is actually at that point responsible to opening session for you. Okay. So it will open the session for the end server and injecting the same credentials that it have at the backend. Yeah. I'll just demonstrate this. I'll just demonstrate. It's like a demo part for this. Okay, so you can see here the endpoint and also the password management. You can see all the password management is happening from the these kind of ports, like for the Linux TCP/2, for the Cisco and other network devices it's TCP/2. Like for the Windows, you can see here the SMB port or LDAP port. You can see also for the MS SQL same default port 1433 and the Oracle same default 1521. So these type of you can see here that devices you can manage in the BeyondTrust. And you can rotate their passwords using the password management feature. So let me just go to the active architecture. So this is a little detail you can see here. Look, in active passive we had two appliances that were running in the active passive mode, but in active you can see here minimum 3 appliances you can configure with the management and worker node configuration. Like you can set up at least one appliance as a management node. Okay, so all the management features will be enabled on the management node, and also you can launch the sessions from the management node as well. Okay, so you can see here UVM, one of the UVM appliance that have the database, their own database. Actually it's the management node. So because management node requires their own actually database. Okay, so the database will be used for the reporting feature. Okay, so all the reports, all the reporting jobs will be configured on the management node. So initially you have to set up the management node and also minimum 2 worker nodes to be configured. What worker nodes are capable to, worker nodes will initiate the session for the users. Like for all the RDP sessions, all the SSH sessions that will be launching to from the PAM. So it will be worker node will be responsible to open the sessions of all the user activities. Okay, so all the user traffic, end user traffic, not non-administrative traffic, it will be routed towards worker nodes, and also all the management traffic will be routed to the management node. So that's like a concept of management and worker node here. So minimum at least we need 3 nodes to configure in the active passive. So all the active passive nodes like management node, like worker node, they will have a MS SQL cluster, MS SQL database cluster. You can see here this is the MS SQL database cluster. So in active passive we require external database cluster. That is actually minimum you can set up one node, minimum to maximum you can set up up to unlimited nodes in the MS SQL as per your need. Okay, so but the latency should be under the 0 to 1 150 ms for the internal databases, because all the databases will be synchronized. Okay, so that actually we will use the listener IP to configure our database cluster with the management. So all the passwords related configuration, like your passwords, accounts passwords, all the configuration will be stored into these databases, not the internal database. Internal database will be only used for the reporting service that will be only available for the management node. That's it. So all the worker nodes will not have any MS SQL server, like your like the last active passive node here. You can see here even the active node have the database as well. Even the passive node have the database as well. So both the database, both the nodes have the database in the active passive, but in the active you can see here we set up external database cluster with MS SQL always on feature. They offer Microsoft offer this feature for the MS SQL databases for the synchronization. So you can set up MS SQL database with the always on cluster, and you can use that cluster for storing all the configuration from the BeyondTrust PAM applications, or you can say that appliances. And you can see here this is the remote worker node. You can assume these 3 nodes are in the same data center, but this is the actually DR data center they set up, like worker node, and it's sharing the same database. So configuration will be reflected even if all these nodes has been down. So users will route it to the DR data centers, VM. So all the things, all the sessions will be working from the worker node from the DR side. Any question on this side? Yeah. Mm. Uh, you can set up minimum one node in the MS SQL always on. It's up to you. If you're configuring only one node, it's up to you. But for the redundancy in the database side, because database is mostly managed from the customer side. Most of the times when you are, BeyondTrust will offer you the solution and support you over this only their providers appliances. So you will manage your own databases. So for redundancy, you can set up to 2 nodes, 3 nodes, 4 nodes, up to so on. It's up to you. But you will use the BeyondTrust will use the listener IP. So you will have to set up a listener IP. You can add more nodes later on as well if you need. No. Amazon, always on. It's active. Yeah, but I'm not a database guy. Yeah, I'm not a database guy, but most of the times I saw actually it's in active, but I didn't learn some. So most of the times we ask customer to just configure the databases. Yeah. Okay. Otherwise, other than this infrastructure, the sessions will be same. Like it will be serving from the active passive. It will be from UVM appliances. You can see here all the sessions will be starting from the UVM appliances, and the end user will only be proxied from the UVM appliances for the sessions itself. And also for the password management, you can see here same ports, same things. Same ports will be used for the password management in the all the systems, like Windows system, Linux system, or network devices, MS SQL, or Oracle SQL database. So this is all about. So now this was actually architecture of the PAM, like from the HLD point of view, HLD perspective. So now how BeyondTrust password safe works. When we configure all the password safe, how it will react when a user requesting for a session or the requesting for a password. So this is a like conceptual diagram how BeyondTrust password safe is working actually. So you can see here, this is a user access. Actually, you can assume this is a user, and you can assume this is the password safe, and you can assume these are your servers or the assets that you want to get sessions, okay, that are actually managed by the BeyondTrust. Okay. So now whenever a user is requesting a session, so he or she have to request inside the password safe. That request will be passed from an approval rules. You can see here that raised request will be passing from the approval rules, and approval rules will decide either that request will be approved or the request will be rejected based on the access policies that we configured in the BeyondTrust. So we configure access policies to allow or authorize users to get the sessions, either get the passwords, or controlling the sessions of the users. Okay. So based on the request and based on the access policy. So if access policy is allowing that same request that user requested, so it will pass from the approval rules, and then either it can pass towards password retrieval function, or either it can pass to the session proxy based on the request that user initiated. User can request either for the password, user can request either for the session. Okay, there are two type of requests user can initiate. Okay, so one request will be for the passwords, or one request will be for session. So if user is requesting for the password and access policies as allowing him to get the password, so he will pass this request to the password retrieval functionality, and from the vault it can retrieve the password and provide it to the user. That's it. Here it is end. Okay. But in case the user requested for session, okay, so it will redirect request that will be approved here, okay, that will be approved request. So it will redirect that approved request to the session proxy, and session proxy will have the feature to start the session for the user. So session proxy will know that which server he wants to get login. So for example, he wants to log in into the server, for example Windows server here. So he will start the Windows server session, RDP session itself here, with requesting the password retrieval internally. So because he have to inject the password into the session itself. Okay, so he will contact into the internal vault, BeyondTrust vault, and retrieve the last changed password and inject into the session. So once the session is started, so he can session proxy will you can say that push the windows to the user for the session visualization or session controlling. So he can just you can say that transfer the session to the user console. Okay, so in between all the recordings will be enabled, because the proxy it is like acting like a proxy. So in between it can start recording of all the session, all the keystrokes will be logged at the backend. So you can see here the recording feature as well, record and auditing feature. So recordings will be started, and also the control will be for the who will have the live session control. So user, any administrator will have a live session control, so he can control his session as well. He can monitor the live session, he can monitor control the live session, he can terminate the session. Also after the session has been ended by user, or the it passes the expiry time of the approved request. So once the session is disconnected, so there will be a recording for the next 90 days for the session reviewers, who have the rights to review the sessions. Okay, yeah, auditors. Okay, so this is how actually password safe works, based on the access policies and the user request that user request whenever he wants. Okay, so yeah, all the systems, like you can see here, all the Windows servers, all the workstations, any devices like network devices, any applications means like any web application you configured inside the BeyondTrust, or any thick client Windows application inside the BeyondTrust you configured. So also you can manage the sessions of the applications as well, and also for the database connections, also for the social media, like you can configure your LinkedIn, you can configure your Facebook, Insta, like inside the BeyondTrust as well. Social media platforms for the organizations. Also you can manage your cloud instance as well inside the BeyondTrust. So that's it. Yeah, before going for the starting the proper training, I know most of the times when a candidate is starting learning the BeyondTrust password safe, they have an issue like for the terminologies, because we use the terminology based on the BeyondTrust configured terminology. So those terminologies are not standard. Okay, like there's most of the times they are confusing. Okay, the things they are confusing actually. So before starting the training, I always go with the terminologies to explain most of the terminologies that we will use in all this training. Okay, so this slide is just about that. So let's just start. First of all, you can see here the functional account. Like for there are some accounts that we use BeyondTrust for integration with the other solutions. Okay, with your IT assets. Okay, so there is a basic account that we required initially whenever we start the configuring BeyondTrust. That is actually functional account. What functional account is? Functional account is any account that you configure in the BeyondTrust to used for resetting the password. You can see here, resetting the passwords or managing the other accounts. Like if you have configured your Windows workstation, it's not like a domain join, and you have 10 accounts in the in that system. Okay, in the Windows system, and you want to manage all those 10 accounts. So there should be 11th account in your Windows system that have rights to reset all the passwords of those accounts. Okay, it's like this. Okay, so that account will be integrated in the BeyondTrust, and BeyondTrust will use that account whenever he wants to reset the password of those all 10 accounts. Because once we onboard the accounts, so BeyondTrust needs permissions, needs integration with that system to rotate the passwords. This is how actually it rotates the password. You got my point? Okay. Management account, like you can see here. Yeah. Yes, perfect. So actually functional account is like a management account that you configure in the BeyondTrust. The BeyondTrust will use that account to reset the passwords of all other accounts, privileged accounts that you onboard into the BeyondTrust. Okay. Next is the scan account. Like, if you are performing automation, if you want to configure BeyondTrust in a way that it can automatically, scan the assets in your infrastructure, scan the fresh assets, like, sometimes in an IT infrastructure, on a regular basis, the changes, happens, like some of the assets deprecated, some of the VMs deprecated, some new assets or new systems, added into the IT infrastructure. So you don't want to, BeyondTrust administrators to configure regular fresh items or fresh assets into the BeyondTrust for management. You want BeyondTrust to scan the things according to the fresh, changes in the IT infrastructure, perform some automation. Okay, like onboard the systems, onboard the accounts, assigning policies, assigning the password policies, access policies, XYZ, all the things. It should be automated. Like you, for example, as a BeyondTrust administrator. So to perform the BeyondTrust automation, we have some smart rules and XYZ, but you have to update BeyondTrust that this in like a to building inventory. You can see here to building inventory, because BeyondTrust itself inside it builds the inventory of your IT infrastructure. Then it can perform the automation on the basis of rules that we configure. Okay, so there is a scanner engine inside the BeyondTrust that will run the scans, but whenever he will run the scan, it will run the scan. So it needs a scan account, either on either there is a local system, window or local Windows system, either there is Active Directory, or either there is an intra ID, tenant, or either there is a Linux, there are Linux servers, network devices, XYZ. So all these devices, the BeyondTrust will scan. It needs a scan account to run the scan on the target system, like, okay. So in this scan, it will scan all the things, like, the fresh running accounts with their details, like last, what is the password age in that account, in that system, and what are the services running in that server, what are the softwares installed with the which versions, like all the details things on the system. It can show you, it can build the inventory of all the things, and based on that inventory, you can automate the things. You can run create smart rules or rules for performing automation, like for onboarding, for linking, for all the things that happens in the BeyondTrust. Okay, so this account is required always when you are scanning the target systems. Okay, you don't, because there are two ways in the BeyondTrust you can perform the things. Either you can manually create the things, either you can go with the automation. If you are creating manually, you don't need a scan account. Okay, but you should have the complete knowledge of the system that you are onboarding into the BeyondTrust using the manual way. And also you should have all the details of the account as well that you are onboarding into the BeyondTrust. Yeah, what scan account you are using. Yes. Actually, the scan account will be separate for each instance. Like, if you are scanning Active Directory, you should have AD related scan account. Okay. If you are scanning intra ID, you should have intra ID related scan account. If you are scanning Linux system, network devices, you should have separately their own scan account. So a scan account is like a privileged account, like high level account that can scan all the things inside that server, inside the AD, inside the intra ID, Linux, network devices, all the thing. No, scan account is most of the times you don't required for the manual onboarding. Whenever you are going for manual one, you don't need scanning because you will have all the details. Okay, so if you are going for manual process, you don't need a scan or a scan account. But if you are going for performing automation or building inventory for automation, so you should run the scan, and scan needs for a scan account. That's what I'm. Yes, yes, yes. I'll just show you because step by step, because I just show you the agenda. I guess the smart rule and the scanning is based on the day 4, I guess. And the third account that we required for most of the time in the PAM, it's like we call bind account, but it's like a LDAP account. Okay, so we actually, what it does. Bind account we use in the PAM, that is actually running the LDAP queries. Because we perform the automation and we are mapping with our AD infrastructure, AD hierarchy in the BeyondTrust for the users, for the computers. So we have to, create LDAP queries in the BeyondTrust. So that LDAP queries will run, the queries on the server, LDAP server or the AD server, and bind the accounts, user accounts or the computers in the BeyondTrust for either scanning, for either onboarding, all the thing. So that bind account will actually go to the AD infrastructure or LDAP server, and that will run the queries actually. So all these basically 3 accounts most of the times we required whenever we are installing or configuring fresh BeyondTrust instance. Okay, so minimum these 3 accounts are, you can say, that prerequisites for the BeyondTrust password safe. So other than these, you can see here there is a terminology for manage account. You can see here most of the times we mention manage accounts everywhere. Manage accounts are like those privilege accounts that will be auto managed in the BeyondTrust. So once we onboard all the privilege accounts into the BeyondTrust, so it will start the auto management of those accounts. So once those auto management is started, so we call those accounts as a manage accounts into the for the BeyondTrust password safe. Also for the systems, you can see here all the assets, all the systems that we onboard into the BeyondTrust for management, for auto management. You can see here those are called as managed systems. Okay, let's go to the smart rules. I just mentioned few minutes ago that you can perform automation using the rules or smart rules. So what the smart rules are actually, you can see here, smart rules are like rules in the BeyondTrust that mostly used for the building automation. Okay, what kind of automation you can perform in the BeyondTrust? You can achieve the scanning, you can achieve the onboarding phase using the smart rules. You can achieve the linking phase. Linking, what is the linking? I'll just explain because this is a different terminology after this. And also you can perform the mapping access to the end users. Okay, and whenever you don't want to assign the access of the manage accounts, manage systems that you onboard to the end users using the manual way. Okay, if you are want to perform the automation, so you have smart rules to configure all of this thing. What are these rules? These rules are based on the if else logic. If you know the some programming, so in programming there is a if else logic. So we configure like if this happen, so it should reflect XYZ condition. Okay, so here like the concept is the same like if else logic, but the naming is different. Like we in smart rules we have condition phase, we have action phase. We might configure the conditions. If condition match, then smart rule will apply the action on the meshed condition items, like for the assets, for the accounts, for whatever. So based on these conditions and actions, we perform automation of all these things like scanning, onboarding, linking, and mapping access to the end user. That's it actually smart rule is for the in the BeyondTrust. And also there is a smart group. Actually, whenever you are configuring smart rules, you want to visualize the output of the smart rule. So you configure smart rule as a smart group as well. Okay, you configure one of the action that performs smart rules, output into the that process actually smart rule, the action into some of a smart group. So in a smart group, you can visualize the results of the smart rules, what smart rule is doing. Okay, and you can see here the dedicated mapping. Sometimes we call it like simple mapping. So what it is actually, dedicated mapping is a concept of one-to-one mapping. Okay, what one-to-one mapping is, actually we map a privilege account that we onboard into the BeyondTrust to one of the identity, one of the end user account, that whenever end user try to log in with his end user account, so he will be only able to see only his personal privilege account that's managed in the BeyondTrust. So no other user in the BeyondTrust, even if we assign the access or groups to the generalized groups to the end users, so only the end user that is logged in, he will be only able to see his own personal account, privilege account, that is managed in the BeyondTrust. Even the administrator will not have the access. So what we did, we do one-to-one mapping. We use one of the privilege account mapped to the one of the end user account. That's it. Using the prefix, suffix, or employee ID parameters and ID parameters, whatever we want. Okay, we have a lot of options in this. Nobody else can see, even the administrator. Yeah, administrators can see the account. Okay, but he will be not able to get the sessions. Okay, so whenever user wants to get the session, user will have to go with their own identity account. Even the administrator will not have the access to get the sessions. Administrator can manage the account, like rotating the passwords, some administrative functionalities, but not getting the session. Mm, concept is the same, but this is like a identity to one identity mapped to the another identity. I'll just demonstrate. Yeah, this is the actually, I guess, day 8 actually agenda of this all this dedicated mapping. How to achieve this. And also there is a linking part is actually, what the linking is in the BeyondTrust. It's only happen in the Active Directory accounts. Whenever we onboard the Active Directory accounts in the BeyondTrust, so we separately onboard AD accounts. We separately onboard AD systems. So BeyondTrust doesn't know that which account is linked to the which system. So we whenever we want to assign the permissions to the get the sessions. Okay, so we have to link the AD systems with the AD accounts, that this XYZ systems should be linked to the XYZ accounts. Okay, so then the users will be able to get sessions. So this is actually linking part. It only happens with the Active Directory, because all the other local systems, we just when we onboard the accounts, it will be under that same system, so it doesn't require any linking. So that's it linking part. Yeah, here it's the last service account. You can see here, sometimes we BeyondTrust, we use the service accounts management in the BeyondTrust as well. What the service accounts is here, service accounts are your non-human accounts, like non-human or system level identities, system level accounts that are actually used for the services to run. Like some of the services you configure in the servers to run under the AD accounts, AD service accounts. Okay, so these service accounts are actually, some kind of a special accounts that you configure on the identities. Sorry, configure on the non-services, not the humans. Okay, so humans will not have the access to login into the servers using the service account. Okay, human have their own user accounts. So service accounts are only used for the services that has been used in the AD infrastructure. Hmm. Like your databases, yes, actually. Mhm. Sorry, I guess your voice was breaking. Yeah. Yes, whenever you are whenever you are look, when you are rotating the passwords of service accounts, so it requires some kind of restart of the service. Okay, so you have to restart the service to reflect the fresh password. Okay, so in the beyond test, when it restart the password, there is a propagation action in the beyond test. Okay, so you have to assign the propagation action on the service to restart the restart. So beyond test will initiate the restart immediately after changing the password. So that's why it's like a special case for the service account, because user identities doesn't require any change, and then restart of the service. Yeah, this is actually also this will be covered as well. Other than this, there are some end user accounts or groups that we call in the Beyond Trust user management accounts or groups. Okay, so these are actually some kind of groups or accounts where we assign the permissions to get the sessions. Okay, we assign the access policies, we assign the password safe roles for configuring the role based access control. Like heard somewhere that Beyond Trust will or Beyond Trust is able to configure the role based access control RBAC. Okay, so how to achieve this? You have to assign the roles in the beyond test. Unknown caller. Just give me a moment because I have to call. Hello, staff. National staff. Yes. No, no. I guess it's wrong number. Wrong number. Okay. So I was just mentioning that end users group or accounts, like user management accounts or groups that we call here. So these are actually some kind of groups that you synchronize in the beyond trust. Okay. That you synchronize in the beyond trust using the security group that you configure in the Active Directory. So you can configure the these just to assign the portal access. So whenever you are assigning users to get the sessions, so you have to assign the portal access as well to the end user. Okay, so first of all, in the first part of the user will be getting login into the portal, and then he will be able to see the accounts that we assign to them for the sessions. So first of all, what the password safe portal, how to get give the password safe portal access to the users. You can configure the user management group or the accounts that you have in the your Active Directory, or you can configure it local here as well. It's up to you. Hmm. Hmm. No, this is these groups just provide the users to get the portal access. That's it, and you will assign on these groups the permissions to get the session. Yeah, standard account or normal accounts, like for the from the system side. Okay, so yeah, it's just okay. You can see here there's some access policies we assigned here for controlling the end user sessions. Whenever user initiate the session, so it will be passing from the access policy. Either access policy allows him, either access policy and decline him his request, just because because of we have two kind of access policies we can configure here. Either we can configure approval based access policy, either we can configure time based access policy. We can configure both as well. If you want to assign user access based on the time, based on their shifts, so you can configure multiple access policies, and you can apply the session policies based on the user shifts, user their own shifts. Okay, either you can configure the approval based access policy. If you can configure one time approval based access policy, two approval based access policy, up to up to you that how much you can configure. Okay, do you want to configure? So whenever user initiate the session, it requires all the approvers to be approved, and then he will be able to get the session of the requested one, he requested. So you can configure either approval based, either time based, either you can configure both in an access policy for end user sessions. You can control the sessions based on the access policy. Also, there is a last password policy. What password policy is controlling. Actually, it controls the password complexity. Whenever BeyondTrust changes the password of managed accounts. Actually, managed accounts, what managed accounts are, as I told you, that BeyondTrust, whenever we onboard the accounts into the BeyondTrust, so it's called as like managed accounts. So whenever BeyondTrust auto manage the passwords or rotate the password of managed accounts, it generate at the back end, it auto generate the password and pass to the system to change the password. So that auto generated password will be based on some complexity rules, and that complexity rules are called as a password policies. We configure password policies, different password policy for the different systems. Like if we are configuring Active Directory, so we can configure Active Directory a separate password policy. Okay, so if we have some kind of Linux servers, we can configure a different password policy for Linux servers as well. Okay, we can configure for different password policy for database servers as well. So we have a lot of options in the password policy to configure complexity of the passwords based on the system. Okay, you can configure best different for different systems, or you can generalize use the password policy for a general complexity as per you. Yes, up to you. So that's it for the terminology side. Any question regarding these terminologies that I mentioned? Okay, sure. Thank you. Thank you. Now let's have a demo side now. I just want to show you. Now look, for example, I am a user, of the getting sessions. Okay, one of the user, I'm trying to get the session of the one of the server. So I have to log into the BeyondTrust portal first. So first of all, I have to just go to the browser, and whenever I'm opening my browser, I have to search the BeyondTrust URL. Okay, 192.168. Now this is the BeyondTrust URL. You can see here. It's called as web console. So web console is you can say here the URL or endpoint for the getting user sessions. Okay, or either administration purposes, you can just go to the web console. Okay, so whenever I'm just launching the URL, just wait, let me just connect VPN. So it's connected. Just check either it's open or not. You can see here my UVM appliance is hosted here on the VMware. Okay, it's powered off, that's why. Okay, so until this to be powered on, yes, please. More memory, yes, more memory. By default, they they recommend 32 GB for the memory, the UVM appliance. So until this to start, because it will take 10 minutes to start, I just want to show you that. Let me open that. After this we have to install the UVM appliance, or you can say that start the provisioning of the UVM. Okay, so for provisioning, we have to download first the appliance. Okay, where from you can download, just let me show you. Whenever you are going for customer portal for the BeyondTrust, you will have a sometimes you have access, because I have the access for downloading the new UVM. Okay, so let me just open. This is actually BeyondTrust portal, where from I can download the plans. Now I have to go to the customer portal for downloading the appliance. Just go to the downloads, file downloads, and you can see here the product. So I have to search here the U series appliance. So you can see here, I have three options. Either I can go with the U series 2012 version, or U series 2016, or U series 2022. These are the actually Windows OS versions. Okay. So currently latest version is 2022, and it's supported on all these platforms. I just need OVA, yes. Yeah. So these are all the versions. I can see whenever I'm just clicking on the Windows VMware workstation, you can see here this is the VMware OVA. So when I click on this one, so it will generate me a link for next 48 hours to download the appliance. So this appliance will maybe take 3 to 4 hours to download, because it consists minimum 27 to 30 GB of the space. So I have already downloaded it somewhere, so I will just use this. Okay, let me just show you. Yes, but I'll just share you the link. Okay, let me just share you the link, because you have to download for yourself. Okay, uh, let's go with the latest version. You have the VMware, right? AWS, you have the AWS, but for AWS we have to purchase. Actually, there is no any evaluation period, because these appliances will provide us the evaluation period. Actually, yes. If they have, then they will go with the VMware, obviously, most of the time. Look, I will give you the appliance. I will give you the appliance, but you have to configure on your own system. That's what I mentioned at that time. Yeah, yeah. Okay. I'll just share you the link. Just download this one. I'm putting in the chat. Okay. Just download, because it will be within 48 hours. It will expire. I am not able to chat. I'm trying to paste into the chat, but why? How can I chat? Here you can see, like, when I'm putting the, yes, just I'm putting enter, then it's going to the new line. How to do same like, yeah, I'm just putting, whenever I'm just clicking on enter, it's going to the new line. Maybe what's when I try it, you can see here. Okay, there is a notes section, maybe in notes I can add. Okay, okay, I put it in the notes. Can you just see? Yeah, I just add. No, no notes or delete. Yeah, I did in the notes. Stay. Yeah, I edit, but it's adding new note. And you can see here, this is not already pasted. Yeah, I can even. Okay, just give me an email. I'll just try to get. Is there email here or what? Yeah, same like me as well. You're not able to see the notes as well, right? Yeah, I can see your chat as well. But why I can't? Yeah, I got some notification, I guess. Yes, in top, I can see yes. The URL, you mean? This is the URL. Yeah, yeah, you can just start the download. It will take time actually. So until this, we will start, close the other parts. Sending you link for UVM. Okay, I'm just putting hash file as well. You will receive the email. Okay. So once you receive, just start the download. So, and I'll just demonstrate here for you how you can use that file. Okay. And let me just log in. Yes, it will take actually. You can later, use that one, but I'll just demonstrate here how you can, perform the lab because this is that today's lab. Okay. So you have to do it on. Okay. You can see here, whenever you download, you are able to see my screen. Okay. So when you complete the download, you can see here the OA file like this. Okay. So this is the 2024 version and our revision 05 for this OA file. So how to import it? Simple. Like open your let me just open the VMware. I have the VMware ESXi. You can use it VMware workstation, whatever you have. Okay. Yeah, VMware workstation, you have 30 days of trial period. Like same for the BeyondTrust as well. So for the ESXi, it's not different for the other one, but you have to just open the VM. Like here, you can just register or create the VM, and here I can just deploy the virtual machine in the OVA or OEF file, same like. So just clicking on next, mentioning the VM name like 02, and just I have to bind the OVA file. You can see here. Okay, click on next. Just go with the assigning the any network, like it's thin or something. It's missing. Okay, but it will work with you. Okay, so if you find any kind of error, let me know. Okay, works with. Yes. So once you deploy, it will need 10 minutes to upload the image. Okay, so once the uploading complete, you will able to see, like, let me just open, because I have to start for this one. I will start in the okay, let me just not in the workstation. Next, UVM02. Mm, okay, that's why I just put it over. Just clicking on next, like finish. You can see here it's uploading my image. Okay, once it's complete, we can start the installation process of the components. Okay, so I'll just demonstrate. Just give me a moment, 5 to 10 minutes, let it be complete, and then we can start. Okay, until this to be completed, let's go back to the demo purpose that was actually missing. This one, yeah. Yes, OVA includes the database as well. So here it is, when you completely deploy. Okay, I'm just passing the time because of the it will take time for downloading, for the importing. So that's why just I'm going to the demonstration you the currently the solution itself whenever it's completely deployed. Okay, so let's just go until this upload. So this is actually my already deployed UVM. Okay, and some configurations are there. Some servers are onboarded, some accounts are onboarded. So let's just open. Once I visit the URL, it will redirect me to the web console, like /web console. So because the /web console is the by default administration or the user access portal. Okay, so it will take time because this is the SSL error. SSL error sometimes take time. Complete. By the way, this is the well-known issue with the UVM appliance. Whenever you don't have proper SSL certificate, so it will take time, approximately 2 to 3 minutes, just to load first time. The portal. Yeah, you can see. So once you visit the URL, you will see the login page here like this. Okay, you need to provide the username, password, and domain if you have any domain level account. So for example, I am just going with the local domain and local default administrator. Okay, so BT admin is the administrator account, okay, by default. So just provide the password once I log in. Yeah. No, 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 no. Actually, what we have to install some components. It will redirect you to the configuration wizard. Okay, so you have to set up the host name, you have to set up IP addresses, you have to set up basic configuration for the appliance. So then you will be able to see like portal like this. Okay, so I'll just demonstrate because it's in the uploading phase. You can see here the image is getting uploaded. Yeah. So yeah, once you log in, you can see here, this is the actually administrative console. So for administrators, they can see the assets tab, they can see the password safe tab, they can see the secret safe. What these tabs are, I'll just step by step demonstrate, not today, but in this all training. Okay. So whenever what is required, I'll just demonstrate that. First of all, you can see here the password safe tab. Whenever a user is trying to get the session of any onboarded account, any onboarded system, okay, he will be able to see only the password safe style. Okay, whenever the user, because I'm right now logging into the BeyondTrust console using the administrator. So once the user login, he will be only able to see the password safe. Okay, so we have to just click on password safe. It will redirect him to the accounts that are available for him to for getting a session. Okay, or administrator assigned to him for getting session. So you can see it takes time. Because of my environment is not you can say licensed, so it will actually. So okay, once logged in, once it's loaded, you can see here the accounts tab, you can see here the approvals tab, you can see here the sessions tab, you can see here the admin session tab. Okay, admin session tab is only for the administrators, because right now I'm just using administrators, that's why. So in accounts tab, you can see some you can just mark some accounts as a favorite. Sometimes you use same account for again and again log in, again and again getting session, so you can just mark those accounts as a favorite. You can visualize the favorites, favorite accounts here as well. Any last recently used accounts, you can see here. Any session that you last time took from your portal, you can see here, last time I used this account to log in into this server, this account log into this server, these are the Linux servers, these are the accounts. So these all are my last logged in sessions, logged in accounts. Okay, so you can use it as a recently used. Other than this, there is a local accounts. In local accounts, whenever you load the accounts, fresh accounts, you can see the local administrator Windows accounts like this. You can see this is the Windows platform and this is the system. Okay, this is the system IP, that's actually managed system, and this is the manage account that BeyondTrust is managing the password of this account. Whenever I want to try to get session, BeyondTrust will inject the password of this account, okay, into the session. So how to get the session? Just today I want to just demonstrate this thing, how user will try to get the session. So let me just go to the directory linked accounts, because directory linked accounts are actually active directory accounts. I'll use the active directory account for demonstrating this session. So you can see here, this is the my account, this is my account, and this is the server itself. So whenever user wants to get the session, he have to raise the request, as I told you. So to raise the request, just user have to click on the access button, and when the access button is there, he will be able to see two type of access there. Okay, one is a start session, one is the direct connect. Start session will initiate, you can say that start connection or start session directly if session approved. Okay, so you can say that immediate or quick connection, okay, from the start session. So you have the user have to mention the reason, like for example testing or XYZ getting the session, and user can visualize the customize the screen resolution for the session. This is actually administrator. That's why I have able to control the recordings of the session as well. Smart sizing and admin console, because these two options are only for the administrators. That's why. And you can see here only two buttons. Either the user will, if the access policy is assigning, or you can say that approving the request for the retrieving the password, the user will be able to see the retrieve password button there. But if user is administrator is assigned user to get the session only from the access policy, so he will be only able to see the RDP connection button. That's it. Currently I am with administrator, so that's why I can see the both, because administrator will not have any access policy for the session launching from the admin console. So this is actually admin console. Okay, so whenever user want to get the session, your user have to just click on start RDP session with the reason button. Whenever user click on the start RDP session, at the back end access policy will execute and apply their settings. Okay, if the access policy is approving the request within a time manner, and at the same time user is trying to get the session, so automatically request will be approved and a RDP file will be downloaded. Okay, for the one time RDP file, that RDP file will be for the one time use. Okay, whenever user executed that file, the RDP file will be expired, or the RDP file will have a token at the back end that will last for 1 minute. Within 1 minute user have to execute the file. In that RDP file, all the credentials, all the session proxy will be mentioned automatically. It's like a script, so it will start the scripting to launching the session. So no, for Linux, yeah, it will redirect you to the put it connection. It's like a some kind of string there. That's it. Yeah, you can see here it's asking me for location to download the file, and I just downloaded. You can see here it's downloaded. I have to just execute within 1 minute. I just execute it, and you can see here, because of my SSL certificate is expired, you can see it's asking me so you can see here your session is loading. Okay, so at the back end, my account, Shiraz.Ali account at BeyondTrust will get the password from Vault and inject into my session. Okay, you can see here the session is launching from my system to the 4489 port with the UVM appliance IP. Okay, but the system that I'm trying to get access at the BeyondTrust is able to get the session and providing me the session. So this is how actually user will be able to get the session of the RDP connections. I want to just show you that what my account is and what my system host name is. You can see my account is Shiraz.Ali. Actually, I didn't put the password. BeyondTrust automatically inject the credential into the session for me that it was rotated at the last time. Okay, you can see Shiraz.Ali it was account, and the system is, let me show you. System is this. You can see that we actually initiate the connection, but you can see here it's showing you that connection is established on this IP. That is actually the IP of the UVM appliance. So it's like a proxy. My session will be initiated from my workstation to the UVM appliance, and UVM appliance will initiate the connection for me to the target server. Okay, Any question over this session launching for RDP? Okay, let me just show you. Yeah, please. You mean the in the BeyondTrust? How can I see the my number of assets? Like, yeah, okay, okay. I got it. Now I can see all the servers that I onboarded actually in the BeyondTrust. You can see 18 items. So all the accounts, like other accounts, like this is the other user, different user. This is a different user. So all the users server, sessions, all the users access, even I can see because of I'm using the administrator account. What if I can assign these accounts like manage accounts to the end user groups that I was mentioning at that time. Okay, when I go to this one, I go to user management, you can see, and you can see the requester group there. Okay, so if I assign the smart groups here, let me show you. I assign all the manage accounts there to get session to these accounts. Okay, whenever Aditi or John or Jordan or Takamura, they able to log in into the portal, okay, they will be able to see my all these groups account. These are actually smart groups that I was mentioning at that time. Okay, so we assign actually smart groups to the end user groups. These are the end user groups. I can segregate this one based on the smart groups. I can assign a smart group that consists only two accounts, that consists only one account based on my requirement. Currently, I just assign all the access to the all users. Okay. Let me just assign a single user here. You can see here that there is a test group, and test group have a test account there. I guess, yeah, you can see test group have a Shiraz account. So in Shiraz account, I assign all the accounts. What if I just disable this one? Okay, and you can see I just have to disable the password safe role. I just disable the permissions, and I'm just creating a specific smart group here. I don't wanted to do this today, but let me just show you how you can segregate the access. Okay, I'm just creating a smart group for Shiraz access. Shiraz access smart group. Okay, you can see here the smart group that I created. It consists only my account. Okay, you can see. So whenever I assign this group to the end user, user will only see this account. Okay, let me just show you how. I go to the user management. I go to that user management group, and I'm going to the enabling that account, enable this smart group actually that I created. That is actually Shira's smart group. I have to assign the read-only permissions, and then I have to assign password safe role for getting the session. Okay, currently there is no any password safe roles. I have to assign requester role and assigning the access policy. Then user will be able to get the session of these accounts, these groups account. Okay. Let me just show you. When I mark the requester, it's asking me for the access policy. I have by default one of the access policy there, or I can configure my customized access policy there as well. I'm just using access policy by default currently. Just saving the role, you can see user will be only able to get the session request from my this account group. Okay, this group consists only my account. So let me just show you. I want to log out from here, and I'm using my different test account. Okay, this is my different test account. So you can see I don't have currently the rights to administrator the things. Okay, I have only right to either request, either view, or request for my accounts. Okay, so I have to go accounts, I have to go directory linked accounts, so I can see only my account there, nothing else. There was Naveen, there was Sunono there, but I am currently able to see only my account because of I assigned smart group of this account to my this Shira's account. Okay, so that's why whenever I try to log in with this account, Shira's account, so I'll be only able to see my account. Okay, that I assigned actually, and I can only start the session from here. You can see because at that time I was using from administrator console. Now I can see how long I can get the session. Okay, maximum I can get 2 hour session. Yeah. During discovery, I just discovered the account, but after that discovery, I onboarded the account. So this is all the process that I completed here. In this instance, all the process of onboarding, linking, scanning is completed. Okay, we'll just follow in this training step by step. Just I'm demonstrating when all the solution is configured. Okay, so how user is able to get the session. Okay. So now you can see here, this is my system, this is my account, and I can just customize my session timing there. So by default, maximum 2 hour session is configured at backend. So I'm only able to get session maximum 2 hours. If I'm customizing this to the 3 hours, it will show me that error. You can see by default 0 to 2 because I'm only able to get 2 hour session or minimum like 1 hour session I can get. You can see. Okay. I'm just going with 2 hour session, mentioning the reason. It's optional. You can see here. You can visualize the access policy that is configured actually for you. You can see here default access policy is configured. Default, you can see auto approve access policy. So if there is any access policy that is approval based access policy, so their name will be mentioned here. Okay. So user will be only able to see the access policy that is actually on the session that is we are launching actually. Okay. And you can see my access policy is only allowing me to get the session, not the password. You can see. So the user is only able to get the session whenever I just click on start RDB session. It will download me one of the file because it's auto approved, so automatically my request will be approved. So once the request is approved, it asks me to download the file. You can see. Okay, the new file downloaded, I launched it. You can see here, I just connect and the session is there. You can see automatically credential injected, and this is the same session that I was launching from my admin console, but account was same, so that's why. And I can just see my request just that I requested now automatically. You can see this is the system, this is the RDP, this is the account that is at the backend using, and the request is approved. And what is the response time? You can see response time, and it will expire on 9:10. Okay, currently my time is 7:11, but it's on I requested 7:10 at 7:10, but it's approved on 9:10. Okay, sorry, I requested on 7:10, but it was 2 hour session, so my request will be valid until next 2 hours. So after 9:10, the session will automatically disconnect and the password will be rotated at the backend. Yes, then user will have to get the new session request and approving from all the approval policy. Yeah. Whenever you can see here, the user is user completed his activity and all this thing, he will be able to just click on the check-in request, so it will expire or check in the request before the expiry. Okay, so once the request expired, you can see here, no, my session was actually there, but it's disconnected. Automatically session is disconnected because this request is gone. Okay, so this is how user will be able to get the sessions. I'll just demonstrate step by step later as well for the Linux one as well in the next uh, sessions. Let's go to the UVM provisioning task. That is actually last task for today. Yeah, it's not 96. You can see. Any question on this one? This part? That's it. Huh? Sure. Let's go with this flow actually, because first we have to provision the VM. It's 100% completed. Let it just finish. Okay, you can see it's completed. So you can see here it automatically started. Okay, so this is the first time automatically UVM what it does. It will load the files. Sorry, so it will load the files and it will require you to log in and apply the IP. Okay, first time you have to assign the IP first. Then you will be able to log in to the web console. You can say this is the brand new UVM appliance that we deployed, and first time it loads the file with the same Windows. You don't have to install Windows and all this, and all the files are already installed in the OVM. Pre-built, you can say that it's appliance. And you can see the system resources. By default, it consumes 32 GB of RAM and 300 GB of the hard drive, and also two CPU assigns to this, and two so with the two sockets actually, two cores with the two sockets. So, but these are the by default and recommended, system resources for the single UVM appliance. Whenever you are deploying the UVM, most of the times you require the system resources that are recommended from the vendor itself. So these are the recommended settings actually. It will take 1 to 2 minutes just to load the files. Um, This one, you mean this UVM appliance or my system? Actually, this is the remote connection. I'm just connecting with VPN. AWS, I guess it doesn't require. Yes, yes. If you connect to the AWS either with VPN or somewhere something like this, so yeah, we can deploy. We can deploy the same. Yes, yes. Similarly, you just have to upload the UVM appliance to the, you know, normally how you create the VM, it's the same process. So I have to assign the static IP by default. By default, DSCP it assign the IP, but normally how to assign the IP, I just want to show you like this. My system IP, leave this part, 168.1.221. Yep, this IP is free, so we can assign this 192.168.1.221 IP. Let it just load the things. We just close the other instance. It's consuming more. So yeah, once it is loaded, it asks you to log in. Now by default password, username and password is, there are some by default username and passwords to log in. I'll just show you. The username is BT admin, or that is actually, the local administrator. And the password is changed me now, like this. So this is by default password. Whenever you are login first time, you have to use this password. So let me just log in. Yeah, I'm sending. Same through the email I'm just sending. I just sent to you. Okay, so let me just log in first. Yeah. Just OS and keys. You can see there are two accounts. I just want to maximize this one. There are two accounts. One is the administrator, one is the local administrator. Yeah, let me just refresh this one. Okay, there's an administrator and local administrator. Try to log in with the local administrator. Okay, and also just mention the password, default password. It's actually just change me now, enter, and it starts login. Okay, once I log in, first I just have to assign the IP, properly IP. So I have to open the network adapter. You can match it from here as well, or you can just open the network setting. Yes. And network and internet settings there. Status, yes. Maximize this one. There is a change interpreter setting. You can see here. Just open the adapter. Go to properties. And mention the, yeah, you can see here it's obtaining from the DHCP. Go to the use the following IP. Yeah, just mention the IP. This is my IP. This is my subnet, and this is my gateway. And I want to use this DNS server. That is actually my AD server. Okay, so you can see. Yes, my ID is also VMware. Just close. Yeah, it's already assigned. So let me just check it. Yeah. Pinging it. You can see it's assigned or not. Yes, 221. Yeah, I guess because of network firewall. Let me just open firewall. Yeah. I'm just disabling all the firewalls just to show you that it's connecting. Okay, you can see. Okay, the network connectivity established between the my system and the UVM appliance. So now let's just go to the browser and try to search the IP. You can see certificate error. Just close the certificate error. It will take time. Yes, after just whenever you are first time login, it will show you SSL certificate to continue. Yes, click on accept. So first of all, first of the thing, you will see the appliance configuration wizard. You can see here. Okay, so configuration wizard will start after the initialization script. You can see. So it will run, it will, what it will do at the backend, it will recreate the certificates, some registry settings it will done, event settings, folder permissions, updater, like, RDP permissions, all the basic things that required appliance to run. Okay. So there is at the backend, first time when you are initializing the provision the VM at the backend initialization script, it starts. So it's what it is doing, it perform all the steps, and then we'll go with the appliance configuration wizard. You can see it's going. I can just refresh and I can see the current status of the initialization script. So it may take few minutes to just complete, and then we can proceed with the configuration wizard. And I just want to highlight here for you, whenever you are deploying new VM after provisioning, okay, provisioning of UVM appliance, okay, you have three steps. Okay, first step is automatic, that is run at the backend, and it's regarding the initialization step. Initialization, ignore my spellings. Script, it will automatically run. Once it is done, the second step that you have to configure, it's manual. Okay, it's the configuration wizard. Okay, you can say it's part one. Okay, and there is a step two or step three that's also manual. Just okay, and it is like a configuration wizard. Now, first configuration wizard will allow you to configure the IP settings, host name, and XYZ basic, appliance level settings. And the second configuration wizard will allow you to configure the deployment architecture, which kind of deployment architecture you are using, what could be the password for the login account, what could be the password for the appliance login account, like RDP login account. So all these things will be configured in the configuration wizard too. So currently we are working on the step one here. Okay, so these three steps to be completed after immediately provisioning of the UVM, then you will be able to see the console access like this. Okay, so yeah. Mhm. No. This GPU is actually local GPU, because BeyondTrust recommends not to join the appliance to the domain, because they have their own GPU with the backend applied. Service is starting. Yeah, final two steps. Once the initialization script completes, it will allow you to start the deployment. You can see. Okay. Now we are on the second step here. You can see one step completed and the second step is started. So now what we have to do, if you have Windows 2022 activation key, so you can just apply. Otherwise, it will start the evaluation period for the Windows for 90 days. There is actually by default 90 days. Okay. So we'll just skip. You can see here the skip button. Once you skip, it will ask you that a part one, you have to deploy these things like appliance admin console, password, the license agreement, like appliance name is like host name, IP settings, net internet connection, time zones, SMTP, and then the appliance will reboot. Okay, so after reboot, it will start the part two configuration that will be applying BeyondTrust licenses, user credentials for the login one, which kind of solution you want to use, what features should be enabled, selected, updates, and extras with it. So these two parts to be completed. So let's just start deployment. First of all, you have to set up a admin account for the appliance level. Okay, so there are two different accounts, one for the appliance, one for the web console login. Okay, web console administration. So appliance admin will only be able to log in with the slash appliance and also the RDP of the appliance. It will only work with this. And the web console, it will be on for the user configuration, onboarding in XYZ. All the PAM settings will be under that account, that administration. So this is actually the initializing or creating the new account for the appliance. Okay, for the RDP and the slash appliance page. Let me just set up the password. Yeah. And it will ask me for my email. Okay. Once I create admin, it will take few minutes. Okay. Let's start. And at backend, it will, already account is there, but it will enable this account and it will, change the password to the new password. That's it. Let me just show you. When you go to the users and computers, user and computers, yeah. See. You can see BT admin account is there. So what it will do, it will change the password of this account and enable us for the next login. So you can see, yeah, account is changed. The next step is to apply, configure the host name of the appliance. So I'll go with the UVM02. Okay, this will be the host name of the appliance. Perfect. Let's click next, and then it will ask you for the IP settings. You have to, if you can, use the same IP, or you can, if you can change, just change it here and save the adapter. It will ask me for the second server, DNS server itself. So I have second DNS server. It's 130. I have to just configure it, and then ask me for suffix, DNS suffix. So just mention any DNS suffix there, or automatically it will load. Okay, so just mention and then click on next. It will ask you that your appliance will be connecting to the internet directly without proxy, or you want to configure a proxy for the connecting to the internet, or you want to just, apply this, no internet for this appliance. Okay, so you can go with any option. I'm just going with no internet option. Okay, and then I have to configure the time zone as well. My appliance time zone is based on the UTC +3. I can just mention any NTP server, but I'll go with the UVM, tools for the synchronization of the time. Then it will ask me for the SMTP server. Any authentication, if it's required for the SMTP login, you can mention the username and password. If not, then just put any SSL certificate required for the connection to the, SMTP server. No any SSL certificate currently, just go with the next. And then you have to just review the settings. This will be the host name. This will be the IP settings. This will be the internet connection settings. This is the time zone, and this is the SMTP server. That's it. After this all applying settings, it will start reboot. Okay, and then we'll proceed to the part 2. So I have to just click on finish. It will start the, applying settings for these steps. It will initialize the, SQL server, renaming the appliance, time settings, then reboot, and then it will pass me to the configuration wizard. So it will take actually 10 minutes minimum. After this, it will be the last, yes. Because most of the times, day one, it have a lot of, tasks to complete. But from day 2, there's not too much tasks. You can say we'll go step by step then. Okay. We can do it later as well. We can configure it, during the deployment as well. It depends. But mostly we go with the after. Yeah. Yes. Yes. You have to at least go with the one. But I'll just cover this HFS as well, because I have 2 appliances. You could there's a one appliance that I configured with the 1.220, and this is the second appliance. So we can build a check. Yeah, I forget to add this point in the content, but we'll cover this tomorrow. Okay, after this deployment of the second one. You can see appliance reboot requested. Let's see. You can see reboot initiated. So it will automatically start reboot. Just close the thing. I can push for restart. Literally, I did this same time. I know the what could be the problems. Sorry. Yes, first we obviously gather the requirements there, what is the PAM requirement, and then we propose a solution. Then obviously if they need us, our assistant, our professional services, then we provide them, like, just deploy this image and we'll proceed with the configuring the things. Uh, yes, I saw somewhere, most of the times the customer uses the PRA privileged remote access solution as well. They use password safe as a vaulting and, managing the passwords, but they launch the sessions from the PRA. They integrate both solutions and, work like a password safe, creating a vault, and sessions will be sitting from remote access, because, password safe will not serve you remote sessions. So if you want remote sessions for the users, then the PR is the different solution. So they integrate both solutions sometimes, and if they want to, sometimes I found one few of the customers going with the AD bridge solution as well. Some of the customers have a large number of Linux servers there, so they go with the AD bridge solution to manage all their Linux servers under the same AD bridge AD domain. So the AD bridge solution provides them the same thing. You know, applying the GPO, applying the accounts that are in the AD Active Directory, and they log in into their Linux servers and Unix servers. Yes, PRA. It's the only solution I didn't saw at any customer till in my experience, my complete experience. There's an EPM solution, but the worth of the solution is very good actually. This solution is very strong, and managing the permissions. But no any customers going with the EPM. Most of the customers, yeah. as per my interaction with the customers in the different markets. Yes. So yes. Initially, when you are deploying new UVM, it may tease you at every step. So when you are deploying, so yes, yes, it happens. It happens with. So it will automatically, even smaller tasks will take time actually. But once it is done, then we can proceed the things. If we interrupt, then lost. I think I have to shut down completely. Let's see. You have your AD server, right? Test AD server, test lab environment. Yeah, then we have to go with the cloud one. Yeah, yeah, we can create it in IBM. But the system should have the resources. The host should have the resources enough. Because at least we have to assign the. We can use the public IPs, but IPs is the different part. But we need the system resources, enough system resources where you are using. Like your system should have minimum 32 GB. to assign properly segregate. Yeah, then we can do. Yeah, when we restart, it may ask me to log in again with the new password that we configured. So let's wait here. So yeah, you can see this kind of error, or this is not an error. It will ask you to wait for a moment because some services needs to be started. So there are a lot of services at the back end it needs to start. You can see it will show you the service that is actually currently not running, but it's waiting, it's trying to start. Yeah, appliance service changed, so may the old service is started successfully. Just I want to show you that how many services BeyondTrust at the backend they have. A lot of. Even I didn't count. Yeah, service started. It will reflect the old ones. You can see all the settings saved. Just we have to perform next and finish. It will start from the within few seconds. Yeah, and now you can see from here. Yeah, yes, these are all Beyond services. From here it will be going to the EPM till now. Yeah, this one. This is the last service. So a lot of services actually. I didn't count it. But it's running. It's going good. You can see reboot completed, and now going for the EMS certificates, then IP assign, and then we go with the second part. Uh, Today was just I will start the second part, how you can use the second part to configure properly, and then once deployment start at that second part, we'll just close this session. Okay. because after that it doesn't require it. You have to just click on next and it completed. Then login portal is ready for you to configure things. Yeah, easy. Now this is the part number 2, where you can see I have to assign the BeyondTrust licenses, solution, which type of solution I'm using. If you're not assigning the BeyondTrust solution, BeyondTrust licenses, so it will automatically start the evaluation period for next 30 days. Okay. So when you assign the serial number, so you will next button will be ready for the click. So when you click, it will ask you for solution. You can see multiple options there, like if you are going for a single appliance, if you are going for a database server multi-node deployment, this option is used for the active deployment. Okay, so you can use this one when you are setting the active appliance. For the management one, okay, for this one is for the management purposes, management node. And for the worker node, you can go with the SQL-less appliance, because SQL-less is for the worker node only, because it will ask you for configuring the remote database. So this will be required for the active worker node, and this will be required for the cold spare DR side configuration of the appliance. And this is the for active passive, but currently we'll go with a single appliance and we'll configure high availability or active passive after the all this deployment. Okay, so we'll go with the single appliance. Just click on next, and there are some either you go with the default features configuration or just any feature. We'll go with the default one. Next, and you can see here the required services or features will automatically be enabled, like it required SQL server, reporting server, analytics server, database server, Omni worker, management console for the Beyond Insight. Beyond Insight is actually the console of the BeyondTrust. Okay, and you can see the password safe console. That is actually the core component of the this PAM. Okay, and these features are only required for EPM solution. You can see and endpoint privilege management for the database access and access. So we are not going with the EPM, so that's why you can close this one or disable this thing. And this feature is only for the EPM Linux. Okay, EPM Linux and AD Bridge. So these 4 or 5 options by default they disabled, and you will not be. If you want these, then you can just enable and go ahead. We don't require it actually. Okay. So this is the discovery scanner that I was mentioning at that time. So this will start the scanning of whenever we start scanning the servers. Okay. So go with the default, whatever they mention. Just go with the next, and then the main thing, it will ask you to configure the database local database access. For the uh, local database accounts password. Okay, so there is a local SQL server inside the local appliance, and because we are going for the active passive, so you have to set up a single local account for SQL login. Okay, so we have to set the password for the SQL login. So I'll go with the password, same password. So this account will be used by a BeyondTrust solution to log in into local database server for saving the configuration and XYZ. After just mentioning the password, just click on next, and then it will ask you for the user credentials. And now this user will be used for the web console login. That in the first, when I was demonstrating the solution, I used PD admin account for launching the session. So this account will be by default account for the login into the web console for configuration of the onboarding servers, onboarding accounts, all the administration tasks, not for the appliance, for the solution. Yeah. So after this is the central policy password. You can set up, I'll just recommend go with the same password, because a lot of accounts are there at the back end. So whenever an issue is happening, so you should have a password for the, because this password is for the central policy that will be required for the scanner settings at the back end. Yeah, no, I'm going with the same this password. I'm using everywhere the same password. And also this account is for the updater. There is a backend updater, BeyondTrust updater, that actually connects to the BeyondTrust server for getting the patches updates or version upgrades if any available updates are there from the BeyondTrust team. So this will be for BeyondTrust updater. This will be the BeyondTrust updater login. This will be central policy, and this will be for main our web console login. So I go with the same password everywhere. Just click on next, and then it will ask you if you are configuring backup location either locally, either remotely, any SMB location, any NFS location there in your infrastructure. You can configure it here, but if you don't want to configure it right now, you can just bypass this by clicking on the last option. Okay, I'll set up appliance later, appliance from the appliance user interface. And then you can just click on next. It will ask you, either it should start directly connecting to the BeyondTrust updater server for getting updates, or you have enterprise server there. If you don't have, just go with the direct connection, or if you don't want to do anything, just go with the do not check for updates. Click on next, just review the configuration. BeyondTrust license is evaluation mode. User credentials for the Beyond Insight, it's BT admin. BT admin, what features are enabled? You can see SQL admin or SQL server, and password safe is on. Database account is there. Okay. You can see HA is currently off. No any HA configured currently. Discovery scanner is on. No any backup and restores. No any updates. So whenever you click on next, it starts to configuring your node. Okay. And now this will take minimum 30 to 40 minutes to complete. So once it is complete, the option will be there. You have to just finish, and then you will be redirected to this URL. Let me just show you 192.168.1.221 web console. You will be redirected to this URL, and this URL will allow you to log in. Okay. So the solution will be ready to use. You can set up it will set up the local database. It will set up the backup settings, BeyondTrust configuration, set credentials, and XYZ, and all the things within 30 minutes. So that's it for today, I guess. Yeah, I took 30 minutes more from the today's session, I know, but I had to complete. So I just want to show you, yeah, the things that we configures. You can see we did demonstration, the deployment and installation steps, and we did, we can say that we performed lab on our system. But I'll just provided you the UVM appliance download link. Just download it and install it. When either you go with the VMware workstation, either you go with the AWS or Azure. Just upload it into your hypervisor. Okay, hypervisor or cloud, and follow the process so it will complete it. Hmm. So yeah, you will get, because recording was there. Yes, sure. So yeah, thank you, thank you. Yeah, we'll see you inshallah tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.